Well, thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, for being here today. I really appreciate it. There were 2 stabbings on the subway over the weekend, and there was a woman lit on fire and killed. So, we're seeing crime go down in just the past couple years. But if you look at transit crime versus 2019, especially when it comes to murders and burglaries, it's still quite high. So I guess, what do you feel like drives crime on the transit system right now?
Well, it's a couple of things. The way you determine the success of moving forward is, number one, people feeling safe, people being safe. And you do it year over year. In 2019, we can't go back and say in 1940 crime was that's just not how it's done. You want people to feel safe and to be safe. Crime is down on our subway system. The officers did an amazing job comparing the year over year on how to bring down crime. But we have more to do, and we had a great partnership with the governor. When we had a slight increase in January, we immediately deployed more police officers to give the omnipresence and send the right signal that crime had to continually to be driven down in our subway system. When you have these incidents, it overshadows the success and it plays on the psyche of New Yorkers. And we're well aware of that. That is why I spend a lot of time in the subway system to monitor how well we're doing. And the chief of the transit division, as well as the commissioner, always spend time in the system.
Do you feel like that sense of uneasiness is driven slightly by some of the mental health episodes that people see on the subway?
100%. That is why we focus on our Scout program, our PATH program, and why we're really leaning on Albany and asking Albany to be a partner and help us deal with the severe mental health challenges we're having on the system. Could do an analysis. Those high-profile incidents that are shaking the sense of stability are dealing with severe mental health issues, shoving people on the subway tracks, slashing. Something is wrong when someone puts someone on fire and stand there and watch them. These are indicators that we must deal with the mental health issues that we're facing in our city. And if we don't, they're going to have the random act of violence that's going to play on our psyche.
Do you feel like there's enough attention paid to mental health? I mean, not just attention, but investments. And you mentioned earlier this year about doing one of your borough-based jails just to be a mental health jail. Do you feel like that, for you to come up with something like that, why do you feel like no one else has thought of that? And what would need to be done in order to do that?
People often in the business of governing, we do it by idealism and not realism. It's not idealistic to state that people should be allowed to sleep on the streets. People should be allowed to live in our subway system, that we should close down Rikers Island. That's idealistic. But being realistic, you have 51% of the inmates that are dealing with mental health issues. 18 to 20% are severe mental health issues. People sleeping on streets don't get the medical attention, the healthcare attention that they deserve. And so we have to have a real approach to the issues. We're closing down Rikers Island and building 4 more jails. All we're doing is building 4 more mini Rikers Islands. So I say, let's take one of those jails, let's turn it into a state-of-the-art mental health facilities for inpatient, for outpatient, and stop criminalizing the mental health problem that we're having in the city and giving people the help that they need.
Now, reportedly, the man who set the woman ablaze, killing her, was a migrant. Is that something you can confirm, and what's your reaction to that?
We're looking into it, and I'm getting briefings from the police department, but it appears as though he was a migrant that was removed from the country and then came back into the country. We had an incident on the subway system where a group of migrants committed an attempted robbery on our subway system. Some of them had previous arrests in the process. This is what I'm talking about. I've been talking about this over and over again, and this goes back into the bucket of idealism from realism. Yes, this is a country of immigrants. It's a country of those who want to seek to pursue the American dream. But those who violate that pursuit, we need to immediately remove them from our country. After they serve their time, they should not be returned into or onto the streets of the city of New York. I've been talking about this for quite some time now, and people take it as being anti-immigrant. No, I'm pro those who want to pursue the American dream and not violate the American dream, because the person who who was being assaulted on the train was a person of a Chinese origin. When you look at those who are assaulting and creating violence on people, they're doing it for both long-standing New Yorkers as well as those who are seeking the American dream, migrants and asylum seekers.
Now, a few weeks ago, you had said that you had wanted to see migrants who commit crimes to be deported. Now you're saying that those who are also charged and serve their time. Why wait until they've served their time?
Well, and I've been very consistent on this issue, oftentimes people will hear what I'm saying and they want to interpret it the way they want. I've been very clear. People who commit violent crimes in our city should not be allowed to remain in the city if they're migrants, asylum seekers, or undocumented. It's always been my position after they serve their time. That has always been my position, and I want to be very clear on that, after they serve their time. But I am also open to see how we get those extremely violent people, like this subway incident where we saw someone burned to death. If we could coordinate with a country of origin and they can serve their time there, I'm open to that. I'm open to have that conversation. I don't want to turn them back into a country just to have them sneak back in and the family members are not receiving justice for what happened. But I'm open to have a conversation. But my belief is after they serve their time, because the families deserve justice on what a person did, and that person should not leave the country and just sneak back in. But if we could have real relationships with the country that's stating we will allow this person to serve time in their country of origin, I am open to have that conversation.
Is that why you want to allow ICE back into Rikers, for example?
Yes, I believe, and I'm looking at what authority I have to allow ICE to come back on Rikers Island for investigation purposes. To carry out whenever there's an investigation. If we're dealing with a dangerous gang and we have someone that is apprehended and we could communicate and have that person assist us in going after that dangerous gang or finding someone that's doing something illegal, I am open to doing that, and we're looking at what legal rights we have to carry that out.
Are you looking at something with, for example, Governor Kathy Hochul on like a list of crimes you guys would want to cooperate with ICE on?
Yeah, we are looking at a list of crimes. We already have a list of crimes that after a migrant or asylum seeker, after they commit the crime and serve their time, there's a list of crimes that we could collaborate with ICE on. But I want to go one step further again. To see about conducting investigations with ICE on those crimes that are violent felonies, on how we collaborate to go after whoever is a co-conspirator in these crimes. That wall that we built between ICE and city agencies, I think it has impacted public safety, and we need to re-examine that.
You went up to Washington, D.C. numerous times to talk with the Biden administration about the migrant crisis, and you never got that opportunity to speak with them. So what was that like? How frustrating was that?
Extremely. We had 10 trips to Washington, D.C., and throughout the years, I spoke with the president on two occasions, I believe, specifically on migrants and asylum seekers. One was here in New York City with Governor Hochul. But we just continuously receive little or no support. It was clear that the administration did not fully comprehend what was happening on the ground. That's why I went to the border in El Paso, one of the cities on the border. I'm forgetting what it was. But also going to the Darien Gap. I didn't stop at our border here in the country. I went down to Colombia, down to Ecuador, down to Mexico. I went and visited the Darien Gap to get a full scope of what was happening. And so we attempted as much as possible to sound the alarm that we were having a real issue, not only in our cities, but what was headed towards our cities. And you can just look at what's playing out in Chicago, in Denver, in Houston, in Los Angeles. All of these major American cities were being impacted by the failure at our border.
Now, you have said that one of the reasons why you're facing 5 federal charges is because of your criticism of the Biden administration for their handling of the migrant crisis. Has someone told you that? What sort of evidence do you have that led you to believe this?
Well, I've been extremely clear. We saw the elevation of, the releasing of information, the tarnishing of my name, the just grand jury information that's supposed to be secretive was being released long before even my counsel was aware of that. And we went through it for some time. And I strongly believe that this had a lot to do with my clear defending this country, in this city in particular. And I think that that's where the elevation came from. And they're parts of why I came to that conclusion. My attorney is going to have to address that. I'm very clear on my instructions from him. Let the case play out the way it's supposed to play out, and not what we have witnessed. We have witnessed constant leaks that was coming from what we believe only those would have been known by the federal government.
Now, your lawyer filed a letter today saying that because of these alleged leaks, that they are worried about you getting a fair trial. Are you also worried about that?
Yes, I am. Because remember, where do we pick our jury from? We pick our jury from the public. And to see some of the things that have come out, some of them is just not true. Some of them from the first presentation, some of the names that they hurled at me, and I mean, they attacked on my character. When I was listening to some of these comments, it's just not who I am. And I thank my attorney because I have to remain silent throughout this whole ordeal of just having my character being assaulted. And I'm happy that my attorney is pushing back and saying this is wrong because Eric has to be judged by his peers, and my peers in this city are being inundated with the constant, continuous leaks that have come for almost a year now.
If President-elect Donald Trump offers you a pardon, will you take it?
I'm seeking justice. I should not have been charged. I have done nothing wrong. I've served this city well as a police officer, as a state senator, as a borough president, and now as the mayor. And I've lived my life that way. And I think it's important for us to pursue justice. And I have a great deal of faith in my legal team. Whatever avenue that's available for us to pursue justice, we're going to do just that.
What are you most looking forward to about working with his administration?
Regaining the pride in our country. Going after the large number of young people who no longer love this country and believe the country does not have a future for them. I'm looking forward to stopping the radicalization of our young people, from going into schools, shooting up campuses, to Ivy League students taking a gun with a silencer and killing an insurance executive, to believing that they should call themselves terrorists, Hamas and Hezbollah. I'm looking to regain our economy and affordability and partnering and making government efficient. I'm really looking forward to what Elon Musk is doing. I've stated this when I ran for office back in 2020, that our city has been inefficient, and our country, we're producing a terrible product, and we're spending a great deal of taxpayers' dollars to do so. We could do better. We've betrayed New Yorkers, we've betrayed Americans, and we need to have a pathway into the middle class. And I'm looking forward to partnering with this administration and not fighting with this administration to accomplish that task.
Now, one of your biggest accomplishments, or one of your many big accomplishments this year, City of Yes. A lot of people were saying, that was a huge overhaul of zoning laws. How excited were you to get that over the goal point? And, looking forward to this next year as you're running for mayor, is that the same sort of initiative that you're looking forward to when it comes to cost of living and affordability?
Yes. One of the, people thought my legacy was going to be public safety, and which it is. We're going to see from the 20,000 illegal guns we removed off the street, there's 70-something thousand illegal vehicles, ghost cars removed off the streets, to bringing down crime in major areas. Those are important issues. But I believe my legacy is going to be the affordability. How we're going to be retiring medical debt for a substantial number of New Yorkers, to reducing the cost of child care, to having reduced fare Metro cards, to putting money back in pockets of New Yorkers, $30 billion. And the City of Yes is another initiative that many people thought were impossible. When you do an analysis of the number of planes we have landed on issues, others have tried for years. The Willis Point project, 2,400 units of affordable, 100% affordable housing. What we're doing, Brooklyn Marine Terminal. These are initiatives that have been tried for years. And City of Yes is one of them. The most comprehensive housing reform in the history of this city, so that we could build 80,000 more units of housing. Every neighborhood in the city is going to play a role and ensure we deal with the housing affordability issue. This is a huge win. No one thought it was possible, and we got it done. We got it done with a combination of what we did in Albany and what we're doing in New York City. Hats off to the City Council for partnering with us to make this happen.
Now, you're entering this last year of your first term, and you have a whole new slate of leaders leading up different city agencies, a new deputy mayor of public safety, a new schools chancellor, a new police commissioner. And with this new police commissioner, there's already been quite a few shakeups within the NYPD. Looking at most recently this past weekend with the NYPD chief, Jeffrey Madre. What were your reactions when you learned of some of these allegations over the weekend?
Serious allegations, and very troubling, and they have to be investigated accordingly. And that is what the police commissioner is doing, and any other entity is going to do. What I must do, and this this is the most important thing I must do, as we have these various incidents that occur, and they happen in all administrations. From my study of history, is to stay focused on moving the city forward. Because that parent that is concerned about housing, or concerned about educating their children, or that person who's dealing with a safety issue in their community, they don't want me distracted based on the incidents that happen in the city. They want me to ensure that I address those concerns that are impacting them. And that is the trademark that I have. You've heard me say over and over again, stay focused, no distractions, and grind. The investigators will investigate those incidents. I must continue to move this city forward, and that's what we have done. We have moved this city forward in spite of COVID, in spite of 220,000 migrants and asylum seekers, in spite of investigation. We have continued to move the city forward, and that's what I have to do.
Madre was accused this time of sexual misconduct, but he's been accused of misconduct in the past, and you have defended him. Do you regret that at all?
I've never defended any accusation of any inappropriate behavior. I've never defended that, and I want to be clear on that, because I don't want people to believe that if someone made an allegation towards someone, it is my job to defend that allegation. I defended his police record. He has had an exceptional police record on dealing with public safety, community building throughout the years in Brooklyn North, where he spent a lot of his career. Those are the knowns. I cannot defend or speak on the unknowns. I've been extremely clear all the time that the public record that a person has, no matter who it is, I know and I'm aware of the record. The unknowns I do not know of, and I cannot defend the unknowns.
Do you expect any more resignations either within the police department or in City Hall?
Well, that's part of the process. when you work in government, particularly in the city of New York, and at the level of what we do here, is part of the process to have people come and go. City government is really draining on a family. The hours you spend, the birthday parties you miss, the ball games you miss, the anniversaries you miss, responding to emergency. I think of Zach Isco and how much time he spent during opening shelters, and Molly and the whole team. So people, you know, there comes a point when you do this, sometimes you run out of gas, as Chancellor Banks stated. He said, I just ran out of gas. And so when you run out of gas, I would rather you say it's time than just go through the motion. Some people come in their employment and they just go through the motion. New Yorkers deserve more. When you no longer feel you could do the job at the level of what I expect and New Yorkers expect and individually expect, it's all right to go and do something else.
But the Chancellor also came out with a statement saying that you pushed him out early. Do you feel like this is indicative of, you know, I guess, an abnormal amount of turnover in light of some of these investigations ongoing in City Hall?
No, I disagree. All of my deputy mayors have remained but one. Sheena Wright decided that just the day-to-day activities which she no longer wanted to do, but all of my deputy mayors are still here. They're still intact. And do an analysis of all of my commissioners. My Parks Commissioner is still here. GSNY Commissioner is still here. Go down the list. And so sometimes when you want the narrative to be that people are fleeing, you start to create that reality. But do analysis of my commissioners and see who's still in place. DEP is still here. You know, OEM is still here. And so we wanted a smooth transition for our children. It wasn't that the chancellor was pushed out before he wanted to. I wanted that smooth transition from his hand-picked successor. You know, so I think that it is not properly articulated that there has been a hemorrhaging of leadership from this administration. We have a deep bench. We still have just about all of our commissioners. I think I probably have about 5 at most commissioners that left out of the volume of commissioners that I had, and our bench is deep enough to continue the job.
Last question for you. Do you plan to attend Trump's inauguration?
That's Dr. King's weekend. I'm normally doing a lot of activities here in the city. The team is looking at where I'm going to be at the time. I think the voters have communicated in a very loud and clear way that we needed a new direction to deal with public safety, affordability, accountability, and to secure our borders, particularly the immigration issue at our borders. And so America chose a president that not only won the popular vote, but the electoral vote. And I think that we should allow him to do his job. And I'm unclear of what I would be doing that Dr. King weekend.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
I appreciate it.